A third example of using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation is written here. We have a quadratic equation in standard form. Remember, our quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we're going to use that, and we're going to identify a, b, and c. In this equation, a is 2, b is 3, and c is 5. All positives. So we substitute those in. X equals the opposite of b, or negative b, which is negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, or 3 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 5. All over 2a, so 2 times 2. Simplifying underneath the radical, we have negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9. 4 times 2 times 5 is 40. 9 minus 40. Over 4. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 31 over 4. Well, at this point, we can see that we have a negative sign under the radical, and we can't take the square root of a negative number. It has no real solution. So at this point, we can say x has no real solutions. So we're done. That's our answer. No solutions. I'm going to go ahead and do a fourth and final example here. Example 4. And this is 0 equals 3x squared plus 4x minus 5. Same thing, we're going to identify a as 3, b is 4, and c is negative 5. Using the quadratic formula, we take x equals negative b, or negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 5. All divided by 2 times a, or 3. Simplifying under the radical, we get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16. 4 times 3 is 12, times negative 5 is negative 60, so that becomes plus 60, divided by 2 times 3 is 6. X equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 76 by adding those together over 6. And here we get to the point where we see 76 isn't a perfect square. So if we check to see if 76 has a perfect square factor, and if so, we need to simplify it. In fact, 76 has a perfect square factor of 4. So negative 4 plus or minus, we rewrite that 76. I'm going to just do that part to the side. That should be 4 times 19. Yeah, 4 times 19. So we are actually taking the square root of both of those. And the square root of 4 is 2. And the square root of 19 is irrational, so we leave it. And then over 6. We just rewrote 76 as root 4 times root 19, and then again as 2 times root 19. And finally, we reduce any fractions that we can. Here we can see that these negative 4 over 6 can be reduced by 2, which gives us, divide by, that gives us, well, they all can be reduced by 2. So we get negative 2 on the top, plus or minus, that becomes 1, root 19. And on the bottom, that becomes 3. Again, all we did here is divide each factor by 2. And that gave us a fully reduced, fully simplified answer, negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 19 divided by 3.